Hello, welcome. You are listening to Dr. Sushma Singh today in Unit 8 Gandhian Perspective on Development. Let us start this lecture with the topic education. Gandhi firmly believed that basic education was an important means to develop the body and the mind. This stood out in sharp contrast to the common understanding of the concept and function of education as knowledge of letters and of reading, writing, and arithmetic as the basic constituent of the primary education. He said that there was a need to improve all our languages. India should adopt Hindi as the universal language for the country with the option of writing it in Persian and Nagari characters. Further, the English books that are indeed valuable need to be translated into different Indian languages. Gandhi was convinced that excessive emphasis on English education would enslave the nation. He was sure that those who have received education through a foreign tongue could not represent the masses because the people do not identify themselves with such persons. In fact, they are identified more with the British than with the masses. It is commonly believed that the people educated in the foreign tongue are not able to understand the aspirations of masses and therefore cannot speak on their behalf. On the contrary, instructions imparted in vernaculars leads to enrichment. Gandhi went to the extent of saying that the problems of village sanitation and other would have been resolved long ago and the village panchayats would have been a living force suited to the requirements of self-governance. He did accept, however, that it was not indeed possible to do without English education altogether. At the same time, adding that all those who have studied English needed to teach morality to their children through the mother tongue. Those who confine themselves to education in foreign languages undergo strain and often commit themselves to imitating the West. This has far-reaching results on both the body and the mind. Ideally, the school should be an extension of the home, which means that there should be no gulf between the impressions which the children gather at home and those in the school. What he was asking for was continuity in terms of social environment and value system at home and in the school. For Gandhi, education did not imply spiritual knowledge or spiritual liberation after death. In essence, knowledge consists of all that is imperative for the service of the humankind and for liberation, which means freedom from the enslavement to domination and from the ambit of one's own created needs. Education, therefore, has to be geared in this direction. According to Gandhi, our ancient system of schooling and thus education imparted in those schools was enough because character building was accorded the importance it deserves for Gandhi. Character building was basic in any education system. The basic objective of meaningful education was to generate the potential in children to create a new world order. This Gandhi felt was possible by way of engaging in socially useful labor, that is, labor in the service of welfare of humankind. The idea formed the basis of his Nai Talim, which was conceptualized in a way that would involve a harmonious development of the body, mind, and the soul. The process incorporated involvement in craft and industry as a medium of education. The hub of his ideas on education rested on the mission to place learning of a craft at the center of the teaching program, whereby spinning, weaving, leather work, pottery, metal work, basket making, book binding, and other such activities that were often associated with the lower caste people or untouchables were performed by upper caste pupils, and literacy and acquisition of knowledge, which were the prerogative of the upper caste people, were available to the untouchables. He wanted the schools to be self-supporting, or else providing education to all children would never become a reality. Further, the financial independence would bring with it freedom from intervention by politicians and political parties. The issue of adult education was crucial to Gandhi. Through adult education, he envisaged to open the minds of the adult pupil in the greatness and the vastness of the country, and to generate awareness about the ills of foreign rules by word of mouth. It was widely realized that several villages were ignorant of the evil of foreign rule and of the means of to overthrow it. He sought to combine education through word of mouth with literary education. Here we want to close this lecture. Thanks for listening.